Good afternoon, founders. There are multiple steps or multiple elements that I would like to include in the business plan. First section is executive summary. So, what is executive summary? Anyone can share with me about what is executive summary in your mind? Anyone can answer? Ron, what is your idea about the executive summary? What kind of things you want to include in that executive summary?
Just like an
Abstract.
the content,
Mm-hmm.
business plan, and also your growth and your achievement.
Right, exactly. The executive summary is similar like the abstract that include the key points. But the problem is, what is the key point? What is the important message you would like to bring out? Many people think that, okay, I try to dig out, like when we learn about technical writing, we have the topic sentence, okay? Every paragraph, the first sentence is the topic sentence. So people will try to dig out some write up or some text from each section, copy and paste to come up with this executive summary. Do you think this is appropriate? No, I don't think so. If we try to just copy and paste from the original section, and as a reader or as a potential investor, I will think that this is not a sincere business plan. This is first feeling. The second is that always in your write-up, you need to describe things clearly. If you just try to dig out some content in the executive summary, may not be too direct, okay? So what to do? I would suggest all of you do this section after you complete all other sections. Okay? This will be the last job in the business plan writing. Okay? And once you complete other section, try to review it, read it, and try to come up with a logic. Try to, if it will be better is if you can come up with a storyline, if you can link up with different sections tightly, okay? So that is very important. And also, the investor or the venture capitalist, they read so many business plans. If you were them, what is your feeling? You will feel boring, right? So many. But if you try to think about how to package your all the sections content to become a very attractive story, and people will be more happy because they are also human. So try to think about that. So my recommendation is that try to prepare this executive summary in the last. Prepare all other content first. And so here is some information about the executive summary, but all this just the key point. But the important strategy to complete this executive summary, like I just mentioned to you, do it at the last first, okay? Do it at the last. Second is that try to think about a storyline to package all the points together. And third is very important, is that try to highlight the important point in the executive summary, okay? For example, I'll tell you one thing. I received 17 companies to submit your pitch deck, and then I read them all, and I reply to all the founders. One common issue is that I face some difficulties to find the core competence of the company. Basically, all of you show me your projection, right? Remember, we are doing investment. We need to see the return, okay? But everybody say that, hey, I'm going to have multiple times or 10 times or 20 times growth. Everybody like that. What is the backup? How to do it? I cannot see. That means we did not highlight the important point in the pitch deck. Again, in the executive summary, you cannot miss that. For the pitch deck, investors still accept some information is missed or something that they don't understand. That's why they want to have next meeting, see you face to face and ask you question. Once they ask you question, you try to answer. I'm sure just one face-to-face meeting is not enough. So the second opportunity is in the business plan. And when they receive your business plan, the first section is executive summary. If you can capture this, I call it last chance to keep them to be interested in your project. So if you try to highlight the key point, the important point, like I mentioned earlier, the growth engine. You have your projection. Everybody have your projection. Everybody can say that I have 100 times, multiple 10 times, but what is the growth engine? Make that happen. You need to highlight that here and explain it clearly. That is very important, okay? Do you get that? Okay? So, this is the step one, showing in your business plan. So I try to base on the business plan architecture to show, and I would like to invite all of you try to change your role from founders to become an investor. Imagine that you are an investor. You read the business plan. The first touch is the executive summary, okay? Then how to make it better. Then the second step is about your company, okay? So many people will do it like traditional way. Try to describe the company, mention about your company's name, because your company's name may have the story. Don't just say that, okay, my company is Gravity, my company is Sagital, but when you mention this name, you better come up with the story. Why you want this become your company name, okay? So maybe you try to Google me, you know that my first company is Sagital, okay? People will think that, what is Sagital, okay? Sagital is the combination of sensor and digital. So my company's technology is sensor technology. Try to digitalize it to become a control interface. So that's why my product is a game controller, or is, use the sensor to control something. So for the company name, it's very easy to link up with your startup story, okay? Try to make use of this to explain to people why you start your company. And then immediately link up with the history, okay? When do you start and how you start your first startup, something like that. And then also directly link up with who start this company with you. If you are a single founder, you may also mention about the key personnel, how you recruit them. If you are partnership, try to introduce different co-founder and promote their background so that strengthen your company's image, something like that. So you can see this flow is correlated, okay? You talk about your company And with the company name, you try to link up a story why you start your company, and then immediately link up with the history, okay? And when you talk about history, you talk about when you start and how you start, so that with all the partners or some first-tier staff, and then you talk about the ownership or the management team, about people. And then try to follow the storyline to mention about your business structure. For example, okay, your company is more focused on R&D or product development, so that you line up with different partners to do distribution or business development, things like that. So you can, by using this kind of flow, to introduce your company along a storyline. Do you remember my first, first day of this lecture series is a seminar in the United Center in the CTU, right? Jason from Kamakura, he used a story, his own story in Japan, to bring up his startup story, okay? So basically, this is one example how you can make use of a storyline to describe your company. And then you can highlight your vision, mission, and values, okay? Plus the objectives. So once you can imagine, change your role from founder to investor, when you read the executive summary, there are a couple points that attract you. One important thing is the return, okay, the potential. But at the same time, you understand more about the whole business plan. Then you enter the section 2 or step 2, which is the company description. In here, you try to shorten the distance between you and the potential investor. So the methodology is quite straightforward, is try to use the story. Try to let them understand you more. So the startup story you can mention here. Does that make sense? Right? So this, please don't to be a reporter. Don't to be a technical writer. Very, straightforward, descriptive mention about introduce your company. You need to make this section become warm, okay? People feel warm about your story, more engaged, okay? That is very important. The third section is that after the executive summary, with the overview, with the key important point that you highlighted, and also try to shorten the distance between the potential investor and yourself, and now come to the meat. The major part is your business. What kind of product or services you are going to provide. So then you can try to highlight the uniqueness of your product. How to do? Tell me, how to do? I'm not sure, do you remember in the last lecture or my second lecture, in my second lecture, I also teach you how to evaluate your business, right? With the 3 points, right? First dollar point, break-even point, return on investment point, how to evaluate your business. And in my last lecture, when I talk about how to prepare the pitch deck, and then I also highlight some important points. So from these 2 lectures, I use some example, especially my investees example. Do you remember? My scenario-based approach. Try to have some slogan that is the world first something, or the first one in the world, or the top one in the world, something like that, right? Do you remember? So here, don't be a reporter. Write down something. Don't copy and paste from your product specification, put it here. So boring, okay? It is not encouraging. But how to make some statement which is true, okay? Cannot tell lie, okay? Once you tell lie, people do due diligence and then say, okay, you are bullshit. Then it's no good for you. But you need to have a very good headline to describe your product with evidence, okay? So that's why when you describe your product, try to think about some important headline. Try to describe your product with a good balance of true and sexy. So you need to think about it. Normally, this is most time-consuming exercise. Like I mentioned to you, when for example, let me see, I saw Edmund. Edmund is still here. Meet the next. He was there, okay. Maybe he go out for something else. So I remember when I visited his office my first time, and then he present his pitch deck to me, and I remember I stayed there for 1.5 hours to 2 hours, and I spent most of my time to chit-chat with him and Marcus, so 2 founders, okay? And try to dig out some important point. Finally, I recommend or I suggest them to use a buffet image, okay? That buffet image show different kind of food, including dessert, meats, whatever, okay? And then use this scenario to tell people that basically in this buffet, everything can be made by Meet the Next, okay? So this is a typical example. My comment is that spend 1.5 hours to come up with this idea is pretty fast already. Really. It is so difficult for me. I'm not the founder, you know. I just hear their pitching, and then deducting their pitching time, and then I need to think about what's the key advantage and how to come up with a scenario, make it attractive. Frankly, less than 1 hour. But I keep thinking, okay? So this is just an example that I would like to share with you. For the product description, you have to think about very easy to understand statement to describe your product or services, okay? And then try to compare with the solution in the market. And then you try to do a fair comparison, why you are better than others. Or even, I like this terminology, dominance. Why you can dominance, okay? If you cannot dominate, that means you have competitor. If you can think about you enter this market, you can be the dominator. Nobody can compete with you. Don't you think the investor have more confidence? If you can show the ability that you can dominate, the investor for sure will be more happy, okay? Because you have less competition. So try to spend more time here. This is very important. And then people will ask the next question. Wow, you have great idea. The impact is so big. You can dominate, but how much is it? If your solution or if your idea is so great, but normally people cannot afford, it doesn't make sense, okay? So imagine that if you have a product or services, it's unique. and also can solve people's pain. At the same time, not expensive. That means you can attract all the target customer to pay. Okay? So try to, although here is just some points, okay? But actually there's a lot of technique inside. When I mention price point, how to highlight the price point, okay? How to make that easy to understand. Market price is $8. Actually, I just 10% of them. But we have the features or performance is 10 times. And the potential customer is everyone. If I have something like that, do you think this is an attractive project? The target audience is so many, and your solution is 10 times than other people. That means you are a killer. You can dominate the whole market. And at the same time, the deployment. Your price point is just 10% of the existing solution. That means your deployment can be very quick. Okay? So remember this, how you make this formula with different parameters, try to package them. Okay? Try to highlight it. Okay? And then the next following question is that, wow, you have great product, you have good price point, how can you deliver? Okay? Like Kamakura, everybody can see they have a Bendo in the science park, right? Do you know Jason recently, he is so busy because it's the order fulfillment. So many people need their Bendo machine. How to produce more Bendo machine in short time, the order fulfillment. How to execute it, okay? So this is very important. Even though you have so great, your product is so great, your price point is so reasonable, everybody can benefit, but you cannot supply. Are you kidding me? So that's why you have to explain that clearly. Okay, I have a very good plan, although I'm small, I just start, but we tried it, and the market accept my solution. And now I have something in the plan that we can fulfill the order, okay? Try to mention that clearly. No supply chain issue, okay? After this, what is the key point? Wow, you have so great product, so cheap, so price reasonable, you can fulfill the order, but what is your entry barrier? Okay? Can any other people buy your product and replicate it? So here, the technology is not a simple description. The technology part is the entry barrier. You try to describe it as your, uniqueness, okay? So people think that, hey, I cannot do it. I don't have knowledge. I don't have enough knowledge. Even though I try to replicate you, but still cannot compete. Why? Because of the technology is unique. This is the hardcore entry barrier. Okay? You not just I am an engineer. Okay? I'm Hong Kong IE member. Okay? I'm real engineer. Okay? Don't like me. Don't try to describe technology just like writing an academic paper. Try to twist a little bit. Try to make the technology as the entry barrier point of view. Okay? When people look at this section, it's not you show off, oh, I have the algorithm, I have what? No. Try to write it as an entry barrier. People think that, okay, wow, if you have this technology, I cannot do it. This section is to use to discourage people, okay? You get that? Discourage people not to copy you or not to follow you, okay? This is the hard technique, hard value, hardcore value. What about the soft value? Is the pattern or other entry barrier, okay? Actually, pattern, I have a lot of pattern. I can easily read other patterns document and then revamp it. So pattern to me is marketing material. It's a soft entry barrier. But the key solid area is in the technology part, okay? Do you get that? Okay? So this is the first section about your product and services. After that, you need to prove you are in a right market. Now, this is important. As I mentioned to you earlier, the business plan is related to the execution. And you develop or you have a product or services, very good, but are you in the right market? How can you show off? How can you prove this is the right market? Here is the proof, okay? So, in this section, I also read some of the pitch deck, put so many information about the market size, okay? I received 17 pitch deck in the homework one, and some people also mention a lot. Also use some comparable, okay, to kind of prove you are in the right market. But I think this is good, okay? But if I were you, I would like to change a little bit. I would like to focus more on the reachable market, the market that I can reach. It is pointless to me that, okay, I'm enter F&B market, okay? Like meet the next, okay? I am in the F&B market. F&B is so big. And they put the numbers, many trillion, something like that. To me, as an investor, I read it, I don't have feeling. This is not your market, okay? Include some other players, it is not related. But if in this section, I try to narrow down which level, the market that I can reach. For example, if I were admin, okay, basically meets the next, the market is for the plant-based food, okay. I try to narrow down to in Hong Kong there are 3 companies to produce the plant-based meat, and 3 players. 2 of them are my core customer already. So, and then based on that, I can easily figure out in Hong Kong market, I have 66% market share, okay? So if we can highlight some market that is reachable, it is on my hand, it is more solid. If I just give the overview of the total market, to me, I don't have feeling. But if you talk about 66 market share is already on your hand, I have a feeling, okay? So in this market analysis, that's why I said to write a business plan is not that straightforward. As you can download so many templates in the online, but you try to translate or you try to plug your content to this template is include a lot of technique there. Just a simple market analysis. When you Google it, a lot of reference that you can find. But again, how to execute it, how you write this section fully related to your business. That is the key, okay? If I were you, I will highlight the reachable market or the market that you already gain on hand, okay? This is the first step. The second is that the potential. If The first step is Hong Kong market. I have 66% market share. How can I explain? Explain clearly to people that with the evidence, like 3 names, okay, I have 2 on hand, okay? Once you explain clearly, the next step is expand. Try to expand the Hong Kong market to other geographical location. And then you explain how you expand, okay? So in this market analysis, if you write it clearly, people will feel your market strategy. Do you get that? Okay? So that's why this is very important section. Sometimes may be useful is that try to add some reference, including some market trend or government policy direction that will show people that you're updated. You also capture the wave, okay? So this is 3 steps, okay? Understand? All right? Because today we are going to have our Secretary of ITIB's event. So I receive encouragement that I finished my lecture earlier. So that's why right now it's already 3:20. I hope I can finish my lecture by 3:45 so that at 4 p.m. everybody can go to hear Professor Sun Dong about the policy information. So that will be useful for your market analysis, okay? Section 5, the strategic plan. The strategy that you would like to implement in your business. That is very important because your product or services is the key. And then if you are in the right market segment, but there are so many ways to do, okay? For example, like Belong, okay? Lydia shared his project to you in the first seminar, right? So she made the ring for the SNP test, all right? He has great technology, machine learning algorithm, nobody can copy, okay? But how can she operate the company? How can she promote this unique product? What kind of strategic plan she can do, okay? If you recall her image, she is a technical person, okay? When you talk to her, and you can feel that. And when you review Belong Technology, this company, you will find that this is a core tech company. All the members related to technology, more, okay? It's a tech-based company. So for this kind of company, the strategic plan is very important because they are not good at sales. Sometimes, if you can write this section properly, your disadvantage become advantage. Do you get that? I am not familiar with sales or business development, so I try to leverage partnership. I try to develop a very good distribution scheme. I provide enough incentive to my distributor. And then I have already content so many distributors in the world. And my strategy is to leverage their business or distribution channel. So this one is tailor-made for your business, okay? You need to think about what is your missing part. How to, fill in the gap. How to make your disadvantage to become advantage. This is the section where you can make it happen, okay? So the Normally, people will use different kind of presentation, like the 4P or different kind of format. It doesn't matter. But I would like to highlight this to you is that try to evaluate your company. Try to think about what is the missing part of your company. Then try to develop a strategy to support that, support your business. Okay? So this is the strategic plan. Does it make sense? Right? So after that, this is the key section, is financial. A lot of SME, they have the cash flow issue. Okay? 99%. Normally, this is because they don't have enough revenue. At the very beginning, they need to use funding to support the company. And the financial plan is the major evaluation standard for investor to see how heavy or to evaluate the health of the company. Is your company healthy financially? How can you manage the cash flow? Will you have the financial gap? When will it happen? Your runway, how long that your company can operate? 6 months? 12 months? So here is the financial plan that you show your ability to manage the cash. It is so funny. For a tech company, they don't pay attention in this. But actually, in reality, it's not working. A tech people, for an investor, they are worrying that the tech people may not be able to manage the money. But in reality, the tech people say, I'm not familiar with that. Try to, get rid of that. So this is not a good attitude. If you are not good in this part, you have to spend more time focus on this more. Okay? This is very, very important. So, like I mentioned to you, if you don't have money, when you realize that you don't have money, you go to do fundraising, nearly 99% to 100% you will be failed. If you have money, you foresee 6 months or 12 months later you don't have money, then you need to do fundraising earlier. Okay? Especially when you have money, you need to do fundraising. If you don't have money, you better to close down. Or you ask your parents, your friends, don't do fundraising, okay? So here, the financial plan is, I assume, you have money in your pocket. You have the runway. You have enough runway for you to do fundraising. And that financial plan become meaningful because the investor will understand if you get the money and how can you make use of this budget to grow your business. If you're an investor, and then I say, hey, I am going to close down by 6 months and need your money, will you invest on me? But oppositely, I said, I have a very great plan, okay? And after 6 months, I will ramp up. But in reality is I have 6 month runway, okay? And now if you give me money, I can ensure that 6 months we can capture the wave. You can see the difference, right? So the investor, these kind of animals, okay, they like money. They love that, okay? You need to describe your financial situation carefully. Try to explain to them you can manage the cash, okay? Don't tell lie, okay? It's real, okay? So this is the financial plan. If you don't know how to do it, find someone, okay? People who are familiar with accounting, or find some advisor to help you, okay? Imagine that you have a good product, you are in a very good market position, and you have a very good strategy, and you have money. What to do? Execute it, right? So this is the implementation plan, how you execute the plan, okay? For example, how you define the suitable time to do suitable activities, the timeline. And once we talk about timelines, you guess what? The investor will check, will chase, will monitor you, okay? This is the section that the investor will chase on you, okay? This part is not done by the investor. This part is done by you. You said 1 month later, we'll deliver something. 3 months later, we'll achieve something. You write it down. And the investor receive it. They will chase on you. Imagine that you submit your business plan, and then the investor look at it, read it, and then the timer will switch on. Just click it. And then based on this implementation plan, based on this timeline, you are under arrest. You are under monitoring, okay? People will chase you, okay? People will follow you. And under this kind of situation, 1 month, if I were you, I will put something that I'm going to achieve or I have already achieved and put it in the milestone for later time. Because I have confidence that I can deliver. And 1 month later or 2 weeks later, hey, I have good news. Another 2 weeks later, I have another good news. So people will, based on that, you can build up the confidence level on the potential investor. Do you get that? Okay, that is the technique. And don't tell lie. Try to make a better arrangement in this implementation plan. Okay? And I highlight some very useful scheme called SMART framework. Try to be specific, try to be measurable, attainable, relevant, and show the timeline, time bound, okay? So try to make it like that. Here is my name card. I will not stop this screen, and you guys please feel free to take. And this is my personal mobile, okay? And you know, people send me an email. Frankly, I will not check. I have admin office to check, handle all my meeting schedule, all the email they will read. But this number, this WhatsApp is the only thing I will handle in person. Okay, I give you my best communication channel. So that's the end of today. And I hope you guys enjoy, and please feel free to mingle. Thank you.